The purpose of this video is to really give you a quick overview of the broad functionality that is available from Dynamics AX for a manufacturing business. So there's a lot of boxes and a lot of tiles on here, but to quickly take you through some of the capability. Essentially with the pillars that we're seeing here, these are the core aspects of the system that we're able to deliver. So product management, for example, this does have a suite where we can do new product development activities. So we can put together a project with a series of tasks, etc., that really control and take us through that particular process of introducing a new product to the marketplace. It also couples in with things like product specifications, so there's capability there to introduce technical specifications, rolling up from the recipes that sit underneath that and including things like the processes and the operations that are involved. It also gives us the capability of putting together things like the quality specifications. So when we are referring to quality in Dynamics AX, it does touch a lot of different areas, whether that be the raw material quality and the processes that need to be gone through from an inspection perspective, or whether it be in-line production activities and finished product testing, etc., that needs to be conducted. All of that can be managed through the quality specs and the quality management aspects of the system. The sales and marketing stream really is focused on customer relationship management as much as anything. So it does have the capability for not just contact and activity management, also leads and opportunities, taking those through to quotation. There's also a campaign management feature which is really designed to enable us to communicate effectively with our prospects and our customers, either that through mail merge activities or through web-based campaigns or through telemarketing activities. All of those can be supported. One key aspect that people do, like from a food manufacturing perspective, especially when dealing with the retailers, is things like the trade allowance management. This is really designed to help you put promotions in place, to include all of the costs that relate to those promotions and track the expected uplift against the actual uplift, etc., through there as well. Business planning sits at the core of the system. So here we've got the ability to create expected forecasts. So it can take, for example, sales history. It can use that information to go through a series of statistical algorithms to actually calculate an advisory forecast into the future that you can then let the system react to. So that is used for material planning. It can be used for capacity planning. It can be used for warehouse planning in terms of can we fit the appropriate materials, etc., into the warehouses, and can we take that much product on in a single day, for example. So all of that again is supported through there. Inventory management, the key aspects that we're referring to here really think about warehouses and locations, and of course batch numbering. So when we are thinking about batch numbering, of course we've got rotation and expiry to consider within there, and that batch numbering follows throughout, and there's a very nice trace inquiry that supports it from the field to fork type approach all the way through the entire system. Warehouse automation is another important aspect in here as well. So commonly this is the use of handheld terminals and barcoding. The system does support SSCC labeling as well, so it really gives a full capability there to actually scan everything through every process of the system, so we know exactly where we are at any one point in time with live information in the system. Sourcing and procurement, some key quality aspects in there, and that we do have things like supplier approvals, certificates and audits can be conducted. When we are doing the audits, we can define questionnaires, and the questionnaires can be scorecarded as well. The suppliers have even got the capability to actually enter that information online via the web if you're able to surface that to them. So again, some key tools there. Tracking all of this, of course, is the supplier performance reporting out the back of it, and the use of the supplier portal, which is, as I mentioned, the web-facing side of the system. Production scheduling, we can schedule machinery, we can schedule people, we can schedule tooling, we can schedule subcontract activities where materials may be free issued to somebody that's doing some work on our behalf, and we can also manage space as a resource as well, so availability of space and locations within there. So all of that fits within the capacity planning arena. Another key aspect that we see here is the use of shop floor control as well, or manufacturing execution systems. So again, we have some touch screen design screens there that allow people to actually clock on, maybe swipe cards if that's appropriate, but to be able to register time. So we're really tracking exactly where we are again within a production process, but we're also capturing the amount of time so we can see what the true cost is to manufacture a particular item. Again, quality management integrated, as is maintenance activities as well. So if there are hygiene shifts, for example, they can go into there as a maintenance activity in their own right. Breakdowns, etc., they can go into there. And again, that will blend itself into the actual capacity planning aspects as well of the system. I've mentioned quality management a few times, but you'll see the sort of things that we're referring to here. So we can trigger off quality orders, the quality order being really the instruction to test to the QA people. If there are quality failures, then we've got non-conformance reporting and we've got corrective actions. You'll see there's a host of other different features within there as well. One that's particularly useful for things like BRC compliance is the Compliance Center as well. Final projects, so we do have a project stream as well. This is used for not only MPD projects, but it could be used for any type of project that you may be running internally. So if you have a project to design a new plant or piece of equipment, then again we can introduce those through projects, so you're actually budgeting for it, managing it effectively, tracking the true costs of those as you go through time. The supporting processes that we're listing out here, of course, finance touches practically everywhere in the system, so any transaction that takes place is updated on a real-time basis, of course, so some very strong tools there, very powerful in terms of its capabilities of analysis and reporting. HR, again, a key function of the system. We can be thinking about, when we are doing scheduling, for example, we're looking at things like the skill sets of the people. What certificates do they have? So if I need someone with a first aid certificate on the line, or they've been trained in handling certain types of allergen, for example, then that can all be brought into the actual scheduling piece. So the HR section as well in its own right has got a lot of roles to play in food manufacturing businesses, especially when we start thinking about contract hire as well. Travel and expenses, there's some tools around travel and expenses and also time and attendance. So again, we've got tools there. A lot of these can also be done through mobile applications as well, so supported on a lot of different types of device, but people can record their expenses, they can record their timesheets, etc. through there. Timesheets, of course, can be very useful if you really want to accurately track the new product development costs as well. Environmental sustainability, effectively supporting ISO 9001 and ISO 14001, so again some key tools there in reporting the measurements of waste, etc., energy consumptions, greenhouse gas emissions, all supported within that area of the system. And just to cover off, the final section is really about productivity tools. So we've got a series of role centers and dashboards surfaced through business intelligence, primarily through Power BI, of which we've done a separate video to review, but really covering off lots of different areas and different ways to actually present that data back embedded within the application. Alerts and workflow are key in some businesses. Alerts give you the capability to message when anything happens in the system. So if a price is changed, or if data has been missed, for example, alerts are very useful on that regard. And workflow really does allow us to control a process in a very detailed way, make sure the approvals are sought, make sure those actions are sent to the appropriate people, and if actions aren't completed on a certain time frame, then they can be escalated up to different people or delegated to different people within the business. Of course, Dynamics AX is a Microsoft product, so you won't be too surprised to know that it has very strong integration with not only Office but also things like Skype and SharePoint, all of which can be used directly within the application itself. The customization tools of Dynamics AX are particularly powerful as well, so there are tools in there that you can basically an end user can actually start to customize their own screens, for example. They can rearrange the screens, they can hide information out of the way, etc. if it's not to their requirements. So some very good tools around that, as are the integration tools. So it's very rare that we come to a project where there isn't some level of integration that is necessary. So whether that's integration with your supply chain, so EDI ordering, for example, would come through the integration tools that are mentioned there, as would any integration that is necessary to equipment on the shop floor. So weigh scales, bagging counters, x-ray machines and so forth can all be brought in through that. The integration tools there really give us the capability to choose how we're connecting to other sources of data and how data is passed back and forth between Dynamics AX and the other systems, basically. And then the final section that we've got there is referring to something called mobility apps. So I mentioned them earlier on when we were talking about travel and expenses, for example. So the ability to use apps on lots of different types of device to actually record expense information and to submit those for approval, to record timesheets, etc., to look at any approval actions that I've got to take place that are done within the workflow, etc. So a good series of tools there as well. So I hope that gives you a bit of an overview of the capabilities of Dynamics AX, and thank you.